Alright, so we're getting hot and heavy into our table here. Just working on the legs a little bit. I would have shot more for you guys, but my kids came out and chaos when the kids come out to visit Daddy in the shop, you know, but that's alright. I love having them out here. So, just taking some small cedar fence posts I had laying around and putting them in here. I've got a 1-inch hole into here, about 2 inches deep. But I'm hand carving these. I started them with a draw knife, and I'm going to whittle the ends down to make the peg I need to go into this hole, and we'll glue it in after I get it all fitted. But a little trick I've learned to making these go in a little easier, because it's kind of hard to judge what you're doing when you're just kind of carving it by hand, and sometimes it takes you forever. So what I do right on the end here, I'll cut a deep little chamfer on that, so it's just enough to slide it into that hole. Bear with me a second. And being as how I'm using cedar going into elm, elm's a lot harder than the cedar is. So I can actually get a really good mark on the hole, and I like doing it like this because you get a really nice tight fit. I'm going to take my handy dandy firewood mallet here. Now, I didn't plan these legs to be beautifully straight and all that. I want it to be a little rustic. Not junky, but rustic. And I should have built a taller shop so I'm not hitting chainsaws above my head. But if you see right there, I got an excellent mark to go from that I can line up the rest. Now I can just carve it down to that size and I'll be good to go. You can see that there. So that's my trick for getting these table legs made. So I shave it down to that line. You can see it's taking shape. We're going to go a little bit farther with it, but I shave it down to that line. I'll drive it in a little bit more. Not too worried about damaging the socket I'm putting this into, and that's mostly, like I said, it's elm, so it's a lot harder. You know, let's take the Husqvarna down. Those darn Huskies always get in the way. For all you steel guys out there, at least I don't look like a girl running it. Good enough. Another thing I like to do when I'm gluing these up, get your end grains. Get a good layer on it. That'll seal that end grain up, and what that'll do for you, it'll keep that from drying out even more on the end grains. Wood dries out fastest on the end grains. So there's the legs, guys. Not too bad to do. I cut them all down to the same length, so they join into the bottom. They're in there good and tight. They're also glued in pretty well. They should never go anywhere. So that's it for this segment. The next one I put up will be starting to finish this thing off. Start working the inner bark out of the off the edges, and we'll go from there. So if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. You guys have a good evening.